Hey everybody, this is Brandon with Southern Style Off-Road. Today we're going to show you how to install the Slimline bumper onto a 2014 Plus Tundra. First off, we're going to start with removing this upper grille area. It takes a 10mm socket and either a flathead or one of these pin removing tools. There will be 4 10mm bolts and then 2 of those pins on each side. Just take all of them out. Some of y'all have the TSS sensor and the Toyota logo right here, so to access that, pop this up, just unplug it. Right there, little push button, just like that. Leave it be, put this to the side. And then now we're ready to take the grill off. There are some plastic push-through, I guess, things on the bottom of this that you will have to kind of get your hand in there to get this grill loose. Once you get your grill off, you have a lot more room to kind of work and see things. So get your Dremel out with your cutting wheel on and all your PPE. So basically we're going to cut follow this line on the inside, and that's all where you want to go. And then down here you make this turn this way and follow this line just like that. It'll make like a little L, and that's where that skid plate and bumper will sit. Once you have your cut made, get you a file. Just come along with it on the edge and just get all those plastic burrs off. You'll feel them, but just get it kind of clean. You don't have to be perfect because you are going to put your edge trim on and make it look nice and straight and clean. Then you can take a lunch break, eat you some critters. Take your 10mm. You're going to come get these 10mm bolts out right here. That holds the fender liner in and these pieces onto the fender liner. So what we talk about in the paper instructions, this little guy right here, when you take him out, you're going to want to hold on to him. Make sure you know where he's at all times. So when you put the bumper back on, after we fit up the brackets onto the truck, onto the bumper itself, this will kind of help hold the bumper onto the truck. Plus we got to put zip ties on it in the middle just to hold the outer bumper on while we fit up the other bumper and get everything bolted together. Once you got all your bolts and clips off to the sides of the bumper, we're gonna go ahead and take this crash bar off because that's the only thing holding the lower bumper on with the brackets on the side of it. So get you a 17mm socket, impact, ratchet, whatever you use. And before you undo your crash bar, take those 10mm off the sides, which we did. And then we're gonna come under here. There's a 12mm and a couple 10s, or just one 10 and 2 12s. No, there's 2 10s, 2 10mm, 2 12mm underneath right here. So we'll get those out. Then you'll be ready to undo your crash bar, take this lower bumper portion off. It's got all of these side bolts and bolts underneath. We got the crash bar bolts, or nuts. So now you're ready to take the lower bumper portion off.
A few moments later.
Just like so. So now you got your bumper. So what we're gonna do is put this to the side, flip it over. These are the brackets I'm talking about. These metal pieces kind of go in with the fog lights. So there's a few bolts on the top end. So we'll take those off and get the bumper part done. Okay, now that we got the crash bar off, the bumper off, we're gonna take these 4 nuts off the frame horns. 3 on this side, 1 on this side. Taking your crash bar off the bumper cover right here, There's two 12mm bolts that go through the top of it right here. And that's where those black brackets sit. Zip those out on each side. Then you're gonna have to kind of fold this up and then it'll just lift out of the way. And here it is. So now, 14mm bolts, we're gonna take those three off. Basically, we're just getting rid of this. Keep these black brackets right here. Okay, now that you got the crash bar off, we got our brackets off. Here's where you're gonna utilize those plastic pins that I told you not to lose on the sides, and also the zip tie that comes under hardware. Once we get the bumper up there, we're gonna use this location right here to zip tie it so it stays in the middle, and the two pins on the side will hold it on the sides. So now that we got the black pieces off, we're gonna mount them back onto the bumper cover, and you're gonna use the same 12mm bolts that came onto it. And so what I'm going to do is line them up to where they were. This should have a little circle where the bolts were. I'm going to tighten them down to where they were, and that way give me a little better chance of lining the bumper up right. Now that you got your bumper up here, make sure your fender liners aren't catching on anything. Take your zip tie, put it through this hole. Okay, so once you got it hung on that zip tie in the front, line your holes up, take your clip. There it is, right there, the little hole. Make sure it's all the way out. There we go. That side, and then do the same thing on the other side. That'll hold your bumper in place so you can install the Slimline. All right, before we get the actual Slimline bumper up here, we're gonna have to take these recovered points off. 17mm, there's two of them. This is where the lower bumper will sit, and you'll use your spacers to take up for this room right here. So zip those off, and then it'll be time to install the trim and the Slimline. Now we're going to put our edge trim on. So we'll start on one side, just work it all the way around, cut off any extra you need. Okay, preferably with a friend or someone. We're going to slide the bumper onto the frame horns very gently. Make sure all your wires are out of the way. Get your bumper cover up and around it. Matt, will you grab this and pull it out that way a little bit? If you can, maybe. There we go.
It's on this corner down here.
Oh, I see. Good, all right. There we go. Okay, once you get it up there, it should just hang by itself. Take your hardware that goes to the frame horns. It should be a 14mm. We'll do the inside one just to tighten it up, lift it up, and get it on there. That way you can relax. Okay, so now that you got your bumper on and you got your nuts on the inside threaded in, now it's time to do these plates that hold the actual bumper cover on itself. So what we're gonna do is these three holes right here are gonna go onto the outside where the bumper actually mounts to. So that's why we left these alone for now. We gotta put this on, and then you take your hardware and then put it over this. And also this side lines up with those black brackets that we took off and put back on this bumper. So we'll put these on first, and then it'll slide on to the bumper mount. Once you get the side on with the 3 bolts, you can go ahead and thread on your nuts. That way it doesn't want to come off. Don't worry about adjusting it yet. Just make sure you got all your nuts threaded on. once you got those 3 nuts threaded on, now we can put this onto the actual mount. Just like that. And you can start threading in these 14mm nuts. Okay, once you got those on, this not tight but snug, we can get your spacers in. So slide your spacer in, and you might have to kind of take like a little hammer or something and just kind of knock it into place, get it right where you want it. Take a 17mm and we'll tighten these down. These are only if you aren't running a TRD skid plate. So this customer obviously isn't, so we're putting the spacers in so they can take up for the room right here. And then once you get these tightened down, both sides, now you can start your bumper adjustments where it needs to be. You can see the movement right there. Get it where you want it. It might take another person, get an eyeball on it to get it where you want it, and then you can tighten your bolts down on the outside wings of the bumper cover. Okay, once you had some fun wrestling it into place, it should end up similar to this. The nice lines on the sides, make sure it's even side to side and up and down. Make sure your gaps right here are even on both sides. Get all your bottom screws, the screws in the fender wells, and then your grill. Remember those clips on the sides and the 4 10mm screws on top. Get those back in and wire up your winch, whatever, light bar, whatever you need, and you'll be set. Okay, that concludes our video of the Slimline bumper for the Tundra. We got the light bar wired up, got the winch working, everything works great. It looks great. If you have any questions or comments, let us know. info@southernstyleoffroad.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.